I don't get it.
Podcast. Hello, friends. Happy second week of this fabulous, sublime decade we are living in now. This is Naz.
It's Ashley.
Lauren.
And welcome to the I Don't Get It podcast. We are so excited because for the first time ever, we are going to be recording this is kind of terrifying. We're going to be doing a live podcast in Los Angeles. It's Galentine's Day themed on February 6th. It'll be at the W Los Angeles, West Beverly Hills. Tickets are on sale right now if you guys go to the bio in our Instagram at I Don't Get It podcast. And if you're one of the first 25 people to buy tickets, you get a free heart sweater. It'll be sponsored by Amaryllis Apparel. And I Buy Direct will be giving out shades. And we may have special guests. Ashley, Lauren, how do you guys feel about doing this live?
I'm actually
excited.
a little concerned.
Wait, really? See, Lauren doesn't feed off of a live audience, and I think I perform better under one.
You do?
Yeah. I feel like I speak clearer, and I have more sense when I speak.
Right, like it's like the adrenaline. It's
Yes,
on. We're live.
yes.
Like you can't really mess up.
Oh, my
yeah, Lauren-
synapses are firing.
Yeah, see, opposite.
Wait, I didn't even think about how you have like somewhat of
That's
a
why I
stage
haven't
fright.
been responding, guys. I'm not sure if I'm in.
Not responded to an I Don't Get a text in 3 weeks.
You know,
So we've formulated this episode without Lauren, as was
thanks
last week.
for doing that, guys.
Yeah, you're
You know.
welcome.
It'll be exciting though. Galentine's Day. Also, there's going to be dessert bar, drinks. We'll have photo booth. You can take pictures of us and frame it. I mean, who knows how much those are worth?
That's
True.
really
Get it
conceited.
signed.
I'm kidding.
Put that on eBay, Lauren.
I can't hear myself. Is my
I think we
volume
all
good?
sound pretty low and dull. I don't know. Maybe our ears
I
are
sound
clogged.
fine.
Maybe my ears are clogged. Did I tell you guys I have vertigo now?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
told us about that like 2 weeks ago, and then you also told me you were afraid that you kept forgetting everything, and apparently forgot that you forgot that you already told
I
me.
told
that
you that I have
Oh,
vertigo.
no.
This is wow. I'm dying. Okay, so what's the podcast about today?
Okay, so our podcast today is I Don't Get Surrogates. Surrogate is a surrogate.
Surrogates.
Okay, but everybody says surrogate, and but for sake of being smart, we'll call them surrogates.
Who says surrogate?
I guess I do. That's it.
That's it.
Oh.
A surrogate.
A surrogate. So I remember the first time I learned what a surrogate was. I was 12. My dad's good friend and his wife were having twins after trying to conceive, quote, normally for a while. And then he told me as a 12-year-old, on the way back from something, I remember it was just my dad and I in the car. And he was like, so Jeff and Lisa are having a baby, except she's not going to be carrying the baby, but it's going to be their biological baby. And I was like, what? And my dad, as a 12-year-old, was like, his sperm went into
He
her
said that?
egg. Yeah, egg. In a petri dish, and then they implanted that embryo in another woman. And then I was like, okay. I was like trying to be very mature and not geek out that my dad just said sperm. But I was 12 and I remember it still to this day because it is pretty fascinating science.
It's so fascinating. I forgot how this idea came about. I'm so happy we're doing it. Obviously, we get it, but we don't get it.
We get it, but we don't get a lot of the emotions involved, I think. Scientifically, we do understand, but for you guys out there who may not understand it scientifically, we will also go through that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how it works, how you even pick someone. And today at work, someone asked me what we were talking about on the podcast today, and I was like, surrogacy. And I was like, it's so insane that a stranger carries someone else's child for almost a year in their body.
I was talking about this at
It's so
school today,
weird.
and they were like, would you ever do it?
Would you ever carry?
Would you ever carry? And I'm thinking, that kind of puts you like off the market for like almost a year. And you're
as like a single person.
As like a single person.
That's true.
But then I was like, but how would someone who's married or in a relationship feel about you carrying someone else's baby? You know? So it's like either way, there's cons to it, kind of.
Right.
So who is the
Potentially.
perfect candidate? A single person? A married person?
I don't think it matters. I mean, it's just when you break it down, it's like biological. It's like DNA. It's not like you're not like, there's not a penis inserted into,
I
you know what I mean?
understand that.
Like,
No,
it's
but
just
you're
like
still
cells.
pregnant.
It's
I
cells.
think Lauren means like it's if you're in a partnership, it obviously affects your
Exactly.
partner. Like
Okay.
it's not up to them. You obviously your body, your choice, but you kind of have to like
You have to run it by them.
Of course. I mean, there's a whole reason, and I'm sure we'll get into it today, that they're very well paid. Like, I think there's a base payment in which it was interesting when Kim and Kanye used the surrogate twice. I believe that they just paid the going rate. Like it's like actually illegal or something. It's in the
They can give gifts,
surrogate,
though.
Oh, okay. Rule book that you're not supposed. You have to pay
straight
a
to the
certain
pawn shop.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
So-
isn't it like you said? It's good. Isn't it like 40,000?
No, so what I hear is that it's like 40 something thousand to like actually do the carrying of the baby, but then like you also provide their lifestyle for the entire
Their
year.
food,
so like
their
their
rent.
food, and like I think like rent could be included and stuff like that because you're
Whoa.
taking care of the mother.
Right,
so I think
right.
normally it gets close to 100,000.
Right, with all those other things.
Yeah.
taken in it. Wow. I mean, that's a pretty good deal. Would you do it?
I mean, no, because I don't think I'm going to be able to carry very well. I don't think it'll be very natural or comfortable for me. But I feel like my body could take it.
I think I don't feel like my body could, and I'd be scared to like use it
No,
on
I mean, like,
someone else and like not my first one. Does that
I
make
think
sense?
Kim and Kanye's, I know we're just using this because the most famous one,
Yeah.
but she had like 3 kids before, and I think she knew that she was good at doing
Oh,
it.
well, that's actually a rule of surrogacy. So I learned that
Okay.
you
What
had
is
to
a
have
rule?
one of your own biological children first.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Okay, well then that makes me feel better. Then maybe I would do it.
Okay.
Maybe we'll
Yeah.
see at the end of this podcast.
Maybe
I
like
guess.
you need a little extra cash. You
Well-
feel like you could help a family.
Lauren and I always, well, I don't know that we always joke, but we have joked before about Lauren carrying a baby or me carrying a baby, and we both like for each other. If in the case,
like if you
like it was
couldn't.
like in Friends, wasn't like Phoebe?
Phoebe
Yeah.
carried her brother's
Yes.
triplets. Yeah.
I could see Lauren carrying your baby, Ashley.
But like
Your
then
second
it
baby.
gets weird because then it's like my husband's sperm is
That's
in
why
you.
it will also, yes, that's also weird. But that's also why I was weird that Phoebe had her brother's sperm.
Yeah. So we both established that if we needed a surrogate, we'd probably have Maura do it because Maura is just definitely has the body to carry babies.
Those birthing hips.
Yeah.
She's the birthing hips.
She's gonna
What
slip
does that
the
even
child
mean?
out.
What does that mean
Just
to have
wide.
birthing hips? Why is that better?
Oh, let me teach you.
Well, Ashley, you know so much. I'm so proud of you right now.
So this week on Netflix, there is the new what's that show?
Sex Explained.
Sex Explained.
Yeah.
Because normally they have the Explained, and now they have Sex Explained. So we were talking about babies and adoption at dinner last week, and then I saw pregnancy was one of the ones the Sex Explained. So I click on it, and evolution has made it harder for us to deliver babies, but not other animals. So gorillas and stuff, the babies just kind of slip out of them. It's very not painful.
Oh, wow.
But it's because our skeletons, they started to evolve up, and that way, everything is more condensed and tight in the
Less room for a baby to just slip out.
just
in
to
other
slip
words.
out. Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's like why making a poopy, you use the potty, squatty potty, because
Yeah.
you're more hunched and your legs are up. You're
Yeah.
more hunched. So if we're all
Yeah.
more hunched, then we would give more
Yeah.
birds.
They were talking about how
This is so funny.
evolution made it so that it's more painful for us. We didn't evolve without pain, but we still are able to do it. Like our bodies are capable of still doing it.
Yeah.
So evolution's if they're still capable, it doesn't matter if it's painful. You just have to go through it.
Interesting. I love that fun fact.
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to call Veronica Bowers, who has been a surrogate 3 times.
Wow.
And one of the times she gave birth to twins for a couple.
Wow.
And then she went and visited them a year
So
later,
do you
I
get
believe.
more money that way?
Oh my God, that's such a good question.
So
My mind just went to such a dark place.
with twins.
Like another one pops out, you're like, oh, that's another 40 grand.
No, okay, so that's a great question that we need to ask her. So my dad's friends who had the surrogate,
Yeah.
they had twins.
Right.
They're fraternal. So that means that I think they purposely
Purposely
actually
are fraternal?
No. So that means fraternal was that there was 2 eggs. and
Right,
they
one
were
looked
both
like
fertilized.
yeah.
Right. So like they both implanted, both fertilized eggs implanted. But of course, identical twins is when the egg
Is together.
splits,
Yeah.
and duplicates. So this lady either was implanted, they shot into, for lack of a better term, they shot up a couple of embryos and multiple ones stuck. And I wonder if they intended to have multiple ones stick,
Right.
or whether or not,
Yeah, if it split or if two stuck. Is what
yeah.
you're saying. Yeah.
Or like, was their intention to have twins, or was their intention to have one and then two, accidentally, quote, quote,
Right.
implanted?
Okay, friends, so I figured this would be a great way to tell the both of you that I actually went on a date this past Saturday. He's really funny. He was really good looking.
Really?
I kind of thought he looked better in his photos because the moment he smiled, I noticed that his teeth weren't in his photos.
Oh, and there's a reason why?
I mean, he clearly doesn't have Quip.
Yes. Because Quip
And
gets
just so
your
everyone
teeth
knows, this
the
actually
cleanest.
happened, and I feel terrible. I'm definitely going to go on a second date because I have to look past that, right? I don't know. His teeth.
Yeah. Well, just hand him over one of the Quips you got, because I know you have multiples.
Yeah. So, guys, if you don't know what Quip is, it is the electronic toothbrush that you need in your life. But they have so many more products that you may not know about. They have the toothbrush, they have refillable floss, and anti-cavity toothpaste.
Yes, there are some new things over at Quip. One of our friends works at Quip, and she was telling us all about their new floss.
And one of the things that we actually have never talked about before, which I would love to share with you guys, because I'm sure a lot of people listening have kids, and on the topic of surrogacy, they have a kids brush, and the new brush is the same as their original version, just tweaked for size down little mouths. And kids are inspired to.
That was very cute, Naz.
Thanks. They're inspired to brush better and more often with oral care that looks and feels like the products that the adults in their life use. And they're proud to use Quip to learn good habits early. And plus, they'll be like the cool kid on the playground, obviously. So, guys, join over 3 million healthy mouths and get Quip today, starting at $25.
That's
so
amazing.
cheap.
You guys know, we've said it before, our favorite parts about Quip are the fact that you can stick it to your mirror. It's very travel friendly, including this nice little container that just slips in, so you don't have to worry about the germs that are on the vanity, by the sink, or flushing toilets and then poopy being sprayed on it.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's
And
gross.
if you go to getquip.com/get it right now, you'll get your first refill for free. That's your first refill free at getquip.com/get it, spelled GETQUIP.com/get it. Quip, the good habits company.
I am so not educated in this field of, medically in general. Like, I don't know what anything's called. But I guess this could be a question for the surrogate. Is it IVF if you are having a surrogate?
Yeah, it's IVF.
100%, right? There's no
You
other
have to-
way?
Well, you have to go and harvest the egg,
Right.
and then you have to, create the embryo in like the
Right.
petri dish. So
then
yes.
to answer that question that you and I just had for each other, if it's IVF, then they would know, right? Because can't you technically...
Well, my question is, when you do shoot up multiple embryos,
this is
it's your
smart
luck.
of us
It's your
to
luck
discuss
of the
right now.
draw on how many actually implant.
Okay.
So, did they just shoot up one embryo, or did they shoot up a couple and saw how many were going to stick?
Got it.
All right, let's ask her for a better.
all right, we're
better
going to call Veronica,
explanation.
and then after we speak to Veronica, we're going to speak to a couple who currently has a surrogate and are expecting their baby later this month. Very exciting. We'll see how they're feeling. All right. Okay, guys, we have Veronica Bowers on the line. Veronica, I guess first start by telling us what a surrogate is and how you sort of came into this journey of being one.
Totally. I'm happy to talk about that. So a surrogate, a gestational surrogate is somebody that carries a baby for somebody else. So I'm not genetically related to that baby. It's not my egg. I'm just the oven. And, surrogacy is nothing I'd ever thought about before in my life. I worked as an executive for an international airline and had become a stay-at-home mom after my daughter was born. And I just happened to watch a documentary one night about surrogacy, and the wheels just started turning. And I went to my husband and I said, hey, I want to do this. I love being pregnant and I could help a family. Let's do it. And so the next day I found Northwest Surrogacy Center and filled out their online intake form, and that was it. That was me moving forward with surrogacy.
So you've had 3. You've been a surrogate for 3 couples now.
I've been a surrogate for 2 families. I had twins. They turned 6 in April, and they live in Paris. And then I had a baby girl that lives in Australia with her dads.
Amazing. So we were just talking about
having international children.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So we were talking about this before you got on the phone. With twins, did the parents intend on having twins, or did 2 embryos implant in you? Because they, for lack of a better term, shot up a couple embryos.
She talks about it like it's like meth.
I know. I have no other way. I have no other term to use.
Yeah, no, it's a great term. It works. I worked with gay couples both times. And so with my first couple, they both wanted to be genetic fathers. And so actually they picked an egg donor. And so the girls are related via their egg donor, but they have different dads. Aww. And so we very intentionally were trying for twins, which I do not recommend. And we actually don't do twins anymore at Northwest Surrogacy Center.
Wait, why?
But
you gotta tell us why now.
It's so risky. It's so hard on the surrogate's body. It's like more, the twins are likely going to be in the NICU. It's just not necessary anymore. The science is so good with these fertility clinics that you're going to get a baby just putting one embryo in. And that was a little different 6 years ago when I started this process. There was like a 30% chance that they would both stick. And now it's like, and don't quote me on these exact numbers, but it's a much likely higher percentage that if you put one embryo in, it's going to stick. So just stick with one. And insurance was different back then too. I mean, insurance plays a huge role in surrogacy, not to bore you all with insurance, but it was a lot easier to get babies insured then. And now it's not. It's hard for international families to get insurance for their babies.
When you have international, do they like send the embryo across the sea, or do you go across the sea?
Neither, actually. They come to the U.S. and they have embryos created in the United States.
Okay, so can they not do that in their own country?
No, in France, actually, surrogacy is illegal.
What?
So,
whoa, I did not know that.
Why would that be?
That's, I mean, different places, different strokes, different folks,
Yes, but like,
if I say the right
it's such a helpful opportunity.
I mean, there's people who are highly religious and, don't like it when,
So, but to answer my question
God,
earlier, when they were trying for twins, did they push up 2 different embryos?
They did. Yeah, they put 2 embryos in me, one from each dad.
And normally you would just try with 1 embryo, and it's just like regular IVF in the way that like you hope it takes, but it's not obviously it's not a guarantee. It's actually pretty slim margin, right?
No, it's actually really good margins. I mean, the odds of 1 embryo sticking are so high now, especially because a lot of people are using egg donors, and egg donors are all super young, healthy. You get so many eggs from them. And then a lot of parents are also pre-genetically testing embryos, which means they know the genetic makeup of those babies before they're before that embryo's 6 days old. And so, they know they're not putting any embryos in that, have the wrong chromosome count or a number of other things.
This is wild. It's just like the science of making humans. It's so wild. I'm interested, obviously we'll talk more about the science part of it, Veronica, but like emotionally, when you had your first surrogate child, sorry, is there a term for the surrogate baby, or?
I just call them my surrobabes.
Okay, so when you had your first surrobabes, how did you feel? I feel like this is a one question. Like, did you feel connected to it? Did you not want to give it away? Like, how did you actually feel?
I didn't feel like I didn't want to give them away. I felt very bonded with them, though. I felt so connected. I mean, I'd been growing them in my body for 9 months. I knew each of their personalities so well at that point, but I had also bonded really well with my intended parents. And I knew how badly they wanted this baby. And we'd been working on it together for over a year. I mean, this was the big moment that I'd been waiting for, was to hand them their babies. And so I was really excited for them to take the girls. I was super excited to go home and get a full night's sleep and not have to worry and have that stress of a newborn. I didn't want more babies.
Yeah, that's true. You get the joy without the stress of lack of sleep.
Right. That's beautiful, Veronica. Okay, so while we're on the topic about taking care of things such as babies, I am so excited to talk to you guys about this next sponsor because I have actually bought so much product from
bought. I used to say bought all the time.
Oh my God, guys.
Sorry.
I was going to do this one on my own.
Sorry, we chimed in.
Okay.
You can't bought in something.
I'm so sorry. Okay, so I bought a lot of shampoo and conditioner and hair masks from Prose, Prose. Prose is revolutionary. I remember sitting down at my desk last December, like thinking to myself, should I invest in this? And it is my hair in a year. I've posted on my Instagram about my hair has improved so much just because of this product. It is shampoo and conditioner and other hair products and masks customized to you. And when I say customized, the customization is through the roof. I'm talking, they want to know where you live. They take in consideration the type of air quality that is in Los Angeles, what type of hair I have, what color it is. Everything, and it's customized exactly to me. And my favorite smell that they have is called Fruitimissimi. I could go on and on. Prose just knows that there's more to you than just your hair type. They've given over 1 million consultations with their in-depth hair questionnaire, which is how I got started, which I just told you guys about. And with their algorithm and over 50 billion formula combinations, Prose determined a unique blend of ingredients to treat my exact concerns. So like I told you guys, I have the mask, I have the shampoo and conditioner. I'm going to try the dry shampoo. If you're not 100% positive Prose is the best hair care that you've had, they will take the products back, no questions asked. So come on, just try it. Prose is the healthy hair regimen with your name all over it. Literally, your name is on it, on the label. It's so cool. You get a free consultation and 20% off your first order today. All you have to do is go to prose.com/getit. That's prose.com/getit for a free consultation and 20% off. You're welcome, and your hair will thank you. Bought. What about postpartum? Like, I know a lot of women, we've had women who've given birth on the podcast before. They talk about, going through postpartum. Does that happen? And are you like 10 times more sad because now you no longer have what was just inside of you?
No, I think actually, I end up talking to a lot of women through surrogacy. I actually run our surrogate support groups through our agency, just so women have people that they can really connect with and talk to about all of these things. And we actually find that women going through surrogacy, at least with us, recover so much faster and feel so much better after surrogacy because you're not sleep deprived. Mm-hmm. You're really taking really good care of your body from the very moment you give birth. You're eating well, you're sleeping, you're showering, and you're just so happy for the family you created. I mean, you're so euphorically happy, which is the only way I can really describe it.
Well, yeah, just giving someone something that they didn't have. It's just like, if you're volunteering, but I'm sure like 10-fold or 1,000-fold. So that's amazing.
Yeah, I really went into it thinking like, this is my good karma deposit for the rest of my life.
For
like,
real.
If I can do one good thing, this is it. And
did you have good births both times?
I had really interesting births both times. My own 2 children, were born right at 40 weeks, and they were, both the same size, and vaginal deliveries. And then the twins came and they were transverse, so it was a C-section, and that was my first one. So it was not expected, but it was fine.
Did you want to get one?
Well, she didn't have a choice.
No, I was terrified. I mean, I was begging the doctor, like, please just check again. I'm pretty sure they flipped.
Check again. I felt it.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And then what about the second?
The second one, I was really hoping to have a VBAC, but I was not dilating fast enough for her, and I had actually been out boating that day that I went into labor with her, so her water broke in the water and I didn't know it.
Oh,
and
what?
Yeah, and so I started having really intense labor and contractions, and I drove myself straight to the hospital. and had her she had to just come quick. So it was
do
another
the parents
C-section.
like they know around your due date and they fly there, or are they there the whole time like you're pregnant?
No, so they actually try to come about 2 weeks before your 40-week due date.
Okay. So were they there when you gave birth both times?
Neither of mine were.
Oh, wait, that's like pressure off though, right? Kind of.
Kind of. Yeah, I do think that everything happens for a reason. And I really loved like getting a day with the babies just to love them and see their little faces and, just look at them without having to share them, I guess.
It's like such a funny, weird, cool, beautiful, strange thing.
Yeah, that's pretty well put.
Wait, I wanted to ask, you mentioned boating.
Uh-huh.
So do they like
restrictions?
Yeah, do they restrict like what you're allowed to do? Like, do they know you were on a boat? Are they like, you can only eat this, you have to live here, you're not allowed to go on helicopters? Like, what's the deal?
Diet and exercise. Like, are you mandated to like exercise a certain amount of
can
hours?
you not go to McDonald's? Like, what's the deal?
Organic only, non-GMO.
Let her answer.
Oh, that'd be the worst. I don't know if I could do surrogacy if somebody told me that. Sometimes intended parents do request, like, can she please not dye her hair during pregnancy, or we really want her to eat organic, but none of that's in a contract. And so I have to do what my contract says.
Does your
my contract says I had to follow doctor's orders. So anything that my doctor said I could do, I did.
My doctor told me I could spray tan and eat sushi.
So I totally did. It was a really great pregnancy, actually. They were both just super chill. Even my twin pregnancy, I just felt so good throughout both of them. There is a long period of time when you're doing IVF where you can't have sex with your partner. Mm-hmm. And that was really hard. So that's something that changed. Because there's this, you're taking all these hormones and IVF meds, and there's this like extreme fear of you getting pregnant with your own baby. Yeah. And so you can't have sex for a certain period of time before your embryo transfer.
Think of that.
Yeah, so like you be like, we're pregnant, just
like,
kidding,
really
I had sex with my husband.
Yo, have people done that? Like trying to have someone else's kid and then end up having theirs? Yo, that's a great Lifetime movie.
That's like actually crazy. And then you accidentally give away your own flesh and blood.
Yo, write that down. We're making that movie. That's amazing. I mean, that's terrible, but...
Okay, wait. I've got a question about husbands. So how did your husband feel? And when you're showing interest in doing this, and then my part B to that is, did he at all feel weird that there was like another man's sperm in some way or another in you?
My husband is super chill, and he is just so supportive of me. And he just was like, whatever you want to do, I'll support it. He never actually said that there was anything weird about somebody else's genetic makeup being inside of me. Luckily there wasn't any sperm. It's not like
semen is floating in you. I get
it.
Veronica, was this your decision, or did you guys make the decision together?
It was, that's tough. So I'm a very forward, like type A person. I definitely was like, I want to do this. And my husband probably knew like, well, there's no stopping that. So I'll jump on this bandwagon. But before really, really start, he definitely had to be on board. I would not have been able to move forward with surrogacy if my husband hadn't been in full support of it.
All right, I'm just going to say it because I know we've all been there. We have all been on a date where we have absolutely nothing in common with the person we are out with. We have wasted makeup, countless amazing outfits on these people that just are not going to be in our lives. And I've just had enough. And people need to know about OkCupid because it's about to change your life. 2020, new year, new you. OkCupid has really changed the dating game by asking you tons of questions about yourself and what type of person you're looking for, so you don't have to find yourself in that situation that I just described. The more questions you answer, the better they are at finding you matches that you have something in common with. Some of my favorite questions that they ask are you a morning person? That is very important to me because I am. Are you a cord cutter? Could you date someone who didn't believe in reproductive rights? What's a bigger deal, sharing your bed or history in bed? And the really important ones like, do you like Dunkin' or Starbucks? And by the way, OkCupid works. It's the most mentioned dating app in the New York Times wedding section.
Really?
Really?
That's very interesting.
Yeah, and that's where I spend my Sundays reading. And OkCupid is the only app in the world that can match you on a range of issues that you care about, from how important a good margarita is to how you feel about climate change. So stop the mindless time on dating apps and go to the app where you choose what matters. OkCupid is free, guys, so I don't even have to give you one of those super long URLs or a code. Download OkCupid today. It is free. Go on a great date this week and then DM me on Instagram and let me know how it went. You're welcome for your wedding. What are the qualifications of being a surrogate? So let's say I want to be one tomorrow. Where do I go? And what do I have to have or not have?
What's like the perfect...
Our perfect surrogate?
Yeah.
Well, so to be a surrogate, you have to have a history of a healthy pregnancy. And it has to be at least your most recent pregnancy.
Okay.
So, that's probably the major qualifier. You have to have a BMI that is I don't remember what the exact number is, but it has to be within a healthy weight limit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I wouldn't make it then.
Shut up.
I'm just kidding.
You have to be over 4'11", which I think is kind of funny.
That is interesting.
Wait, why?
Yeah, is that weird? I don't know. And these are the things that the fertility clinics actually
Probably easier
require.
to carry if you're taller than that.
Like maybe if you have to carry a very heavy baby.
Or like Norwegian genetics. And
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to be over 21 and under 40.
Under 40. Okay, that was my next question, was the age limit. Okay, so a lot of people out there think of surrogacy as a way to make money. Is
Totally.
that like a faux pas? Is that like what is it called? Is that like a wives' tale type of thing?
No, I definitely think that there might be some people out there that try to pursue surrogacy for quick money. But there's nothing quick about the money you make in
quick
surrogacy.
money. Well, actually, when do you get it? Do you get like half in the beginning and then half when it's born? How does that work?
So you get your base compensation, which is negotiated, which is Northwest Surrogacy Center has a base compensation, and it's nothing that you can negotiate that dollar amount.
What is that amount?
So for a first-time surrogate in the state of California, it's $42,000. And I live in Oregon, and so for me, the base compensation is $37,000.
So it's relative to what like the socioeconomic, what it is in that state area.
Yeah, kind of. And we work in, Washington and Colorado as well, and it's the same as Oregon. So anyway, if my base was $37,000, I would start my escrow account. So there's an escrow agent that holds that money. They release it in monthly increments based on how far pregnant you are. So when you have your heartbeat confirmation, which is at 6 weeks, 5 days pregnant, you get your first installment of $3,700.
Wait, sorry, say that again.
After they found the heartbeat. Once
soon-
they hear the heartbeat, then she gets the first installment.
Wow.
Right.
That's so crazy.
Wait, so my mind just went to like a really
what if
dark
you
place. So
miscarry?
Yeah, if you miscarry or something unfortunate happens, then what?
Yeah. Well, that's probably why they pay you by how many weeks pregnant you are. And so if you go in for a 10-week... So at first, by the way, you are getting ultrasounds very regularly. I mean, you get one at 6 weeks, 5 days. You get one right around 8 or 9 weeks. You get another one at 10 weeks, at 12 weeks. I mean, and then it's just like a normal pregnancy once you're released from your fertility clinic. But they're really checking and making sure that baby's okay. But if you went in at 12 weeks and there was no heartbeat, they would pay you for 12 weeks pregnant.
Oh, that's very sad.
And when do you get the last installment?
As the second you deliver.
The second they give you a check, like here,
Like,
it is.
literally, they
pops in
hand
your
you the
bank
baby
account.
and they
Here's your first meal and your check.
talk about a direct deposit.
It is. It's a direct deposit. You let your agency know. I called my case manager like, hey, I had the baby. And she was like, great, I'm on the phone with your escrow agent. He's going to transfer the funds now.
So you said
super quick.
that's your base salary. So then isn't there like another big lot of money that comes your way, like to support your lifestyle?
So you do get, we call it ice cream money in the surrogacy world.
That's hilarious.
Once we sign our contract with our intended parents, we start getting $200 a month. And that's just for miscellaneous expenses. That's for, I have morning sickness and I can't eat anything but, chicken nuggets or whatever it is that, your lifestyle changes when you're pregnant or you're eating more food and you want to eat, more salads from this one place. It's for those kind of changes.
Wait, $200 a month?
Wait a second.
No.
I thought you got like $50,000 to support.
Yeah,
a
before we called you,
lifestyle.
we were like, oh, it comes out to like 100,000.
That's about how much all the total process of surrogacy, I think, costs intended parents.
Because
But
like doctors and
Cost
stuff?
parents, but not what
cost
you're putting in your
parents.
pocket.
That makes sense.
Correct. Yeah.
Because they pay for the
They have to go to the
doctor.
IVF. They have to go through that whole expensive process.
Do they
Right.
pay for your gas money?
They do. So if I have to travel to my fertility clinic, which is, an hour and a half away, they pay me mileage and anything related to the pregnancy. So I get money for maternity clothes and
But
I get
not all
money
your
for-
food.
No. I mean, I still have to live my normal life and I can't expense every time I go out to eat.
So eating for two isn't a thing you can write it at the end of every receipt.
No, sadly, no.
So you're making, let's just pretend.
Well, you have a day job, right, Veronica? This is on top of
do.
you working. So you're
Correct.
This is
Yeah.
So think about it
So
like that.
okay, so say let's just pretend like you get like 39,000. So
Okay.
that's pretty much what you see if you carry somebody's child, 39,000. Okay, but really you're getting paid in your soul food that you're getting from this, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And it
it's so
doesn't-
nice. It's such a nice thing to do in the world for someone else.
Can I
while
ask
you're also
a
making
question
money.
that's, I don't know if it's related, but egg donors, do you know what the qualifications to be an egg donor is?
I don't off the top of my head, sadly. I've never
Would you
been
ever
an
do
egg
that?
donor.
Lauren's on Craigslist as we're
I know,
speaking,
right?
trying to sell.
No, I don't think I would ever do egg donation.
Yeah.
That's so different.
different.
That's like
You're
your
giving your
DNA.
pure
walking
DNA,
around.
yeah.
It is.
It's just so much
Yeah.
different for women to give their eggs and men to donate their sperm, but right?
Is it?
I feel it's different. I don't know why.
Why?
Because
Oh,
it's
I don't
more
feel like
invasive
it's
to
any
get the
different.
egg, maybe.
It is funny though, because I think there's two mentalities out there, and I know some really amazing egg donors personally, and they're fantastic. And they think, gosh, donating my eggs, no problem, but I could never be a surrogate. And I think surrogates have that opposite mindset of, I could never donate my eggs, but I would
Exactly.
love to carry somebody's baby.
Yeah.
I think I would. I think if I had one, I would be a surrogate. I would do that for someone
I had
that
to
couldn't.
pick, I'd be a
After
surrogate,
talking to
too.
you, Veronica, I think at first I was like, "Fuck that," but now it seems like something. It seems like such a generous thing to do.
So once upon a time, I met a guy in paradise, and then 3 years later, we got engaged on the same beach,
No
and then we
way.
got married a summer after that. And I'll tell you this: the whole thing was stressful, but
they lived happily ever after.
Yes, but the wedding planning part doesn't have to be stressful because there's this new place to go. It's called Zola. And according to a recent Zola survey, 96% of couples think that planning their wedding is stressful, and 86% suffered stress-induced symptoms like insomnia, breakouts, and a lower sex drive because they were planning their wedding. Is that crazy? If it sounds accurate to you, Zola's here to help. So Zola makes wedding planning easier and less stressful with wedding websites, registries, invitations, and a guest list manager all in one place. I gotta say, the guest list is one of the most stressful components of a wedding. You don't want to offend people, and then there are people RSVPing, and then there are people who are not RSVPing, and then you have some maybes and all that. Well, Zola has a guest list manager, which is a game changer. They also can help you do your wedding website, and in a 2020 wedding, you definitely need a wedding website. It helps people find all the information they're going to need, from registry to directions and local hotels and transportation and all that stuff. And they have hundreds of gorgeous designs, and you can create the website with a custom URL and password protection in case you're really private about your wedding location and all that. It's right there with Zola. In addition to all this, it is the highest rated registry of all time. Plus, they have a great section that's going to help you create beautiful, affordable invitations. So right now you can go to Zola.com, that is ZOLA.com/get-it, and use our promo code SAVE50, that is SAVE50, to get 50% off your save the dates. You can also get a free personalized paper sample before you do this purchase. And again, that is 50% off save the dates at Zola.com/get-it, promo code SAVE50.
We were talking about before you got on if having birthing hips makes you a good candidate. Do you have birthing hips?
We don't take any measurements,
but let's say they're pretty good.
But I got birthing hips.
Nice.
So, yeah. No, it's been really cool. I mean, I'm really connected to all the families that I helped create. I mean, I love those kids. It feels a lot like, how I love my own nephews. I love the girls the same way.
Aww.
Plus,
and the parents are cool
them.
with you being in their lives. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
They are. Yeah. I went into it with the expectations of, I really want to be part of their lives forever. Like if I'm going to carry a baby for you, I want to see them grow up. I want pictures. I want to be able to come visit. Like these are things that are important to me. And the parents I worked with wanted those same things.
How old are the kids you carried at this point?
So the twins turned 6 in April, and I'm actually flying out for their birthday, which I do every year.
Oh, to Paris.
Yes.
That's so fabulous.
It's really fun.
It's amazing.
And then Maya turns 3. No, Maya is 3. I've had too many kids. Maya's 3.
So how many kids have you had total?
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, so you get to visit them. Is that kind of in your contract initially, like an open adoption would be? No?
No, we can't write any types of relationships or feelings into a contract. I'm really lucky that I worked with some really great parents that we just had really great mutual respect. And, we work really hard to stay in each other's lives.
This is so informative, and what you're doing is so insane and courageous. I love it. If people are listening and they want to potentially learn more information about becoming a surrogate, where can they go and where can they find you?
I would go to northwestsurrogacycenter.com and they can fill out the online intake form there. There's a lot of really good information out there. And there's some great documentaries and blogs and Facebook groups for women. But I'm partial to Northwest Surrogacy Center, and it's a really great place to start. So people should totally check it out.
I have one last really important question for you. How did you explain to your own children what was happening to your body and how the baby that came out of you no longer was going to live in your house?
That's such a good question. So my son, when I had the twins, my son was 4 and my daughter was 1. So she did not get it at all. She recognized one day she could sit on my lap and then one day she all of a sudden couldn't. And then she could again. But my son was like, so there's going to be 2 babies. Where are they going? And I worked really hard to build my kids' relationship with my intended parents. So they knew him, and I just told them, they're Bruno and Christoph's babies. And my son asked one time, well, are they going to live with us? And I said, well, buddy, we got a 3-bedroom house. You have a bedroom. Stella has a bedroom. I have a bedroom. Where would we put a baby? And he was like, oh, you're right.
That's so funny.
Duh, Mom.
Awesome. That's so funny. Aww. Wait, how many more times do you want to be a surrogate?
I'm done. I am done. I loved carrying babies. And if I had a family member that really couldn't have a baby, I would totally carry a baby for them. But other than that, I'm done.
All right. Well, Veronica, you were incredible. We are going to call a couple now who's expecting a baby from a surrogate later this month. Any questions that you think we should ask them?
Oh, that's great. I would just ask them how the process has been, where they're at, how long they've been thinking about this, how their relationship is with their surrogate, what they see that relationship being like later. Those are all, it's such an emotional process. I think that people on the outside just really don't see that until they're, somebody tells them about it. And it just is really beautiful.
Sure.
All right. Thank you so much. You're a fantastic guest. It was so informative. Yeah. Thank you.
It was great talking to you. All right. Bye.
Bye. So what do you guys think? Would you do it?
That was really, really interesting.
I know. That was so informative. I was shocked to find out that you have to be taller than 4'11".
I'm still shocked that you need to have a baby beforehand.
I think that's great.
I think that's really important.
That's such a security.
Yeah.
No, I get it. Why? But can I do it now?
You want to do it, Lauren?
Oh, Lauren, you want a little pee-pee.
Lauren, you'd be such a good surrogate.
I know
Gotta
you
wait.
would be, except for like all the fast food.
I was
the
just going to
fast
say, if you
food,
held
yeah.
my baby, no Burger King
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Fine.
I'm not even going to eat Burger King with my own baby and me.
Well, you're plant-based now.
We'll
so.
see how long that lasts when you're pregnant.
I don't know. I don't know, you guys. I really feel like autism may have to do. I may be a little Jenny McCarthy. I may
Like
be a little
linked
bit.
to red meat.
I think it might be like related to pesticides. It's definitely. I don't believe what she says about vaccines, but I really think that pesticides may have something to do with it.
I mean, I think there's a shit ton of shit on all our food, and
there's
it's
a lot of
disgusting.
reasons. There's a lot of reasons that we have to figure out why the rate has gone up so significantly in the past couple decades.
100%.
There's something that we've been doing to our environment.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would. I think if I had my kids and I was done, and I don't know if I'd go out of my way, but I think if a friend or family member came up to me and was like, I cannot have one, I think it would actually feel amazing to do that for another person.
Yeah. I agree. Definitely would consider it after my children.
You guys, Rothy's has us do ads every week because you guys keep buying them. And why do you keep buying them? Because I'm an amazing spokesperson for Rothy's. Okay.
You're basically Meghan Markle.
I'm basically Meghan Markle, who did wear Rothy's once, and then they sold out like basically forever. Everybody wants to get their hands on Rothy's. And that's because they are the only flat that I've ever experienced that doesn't cut up the back of my ankle. They're so comfortable. They're made from recycled water bottles, so you're doing great things for the planet as well. And they come in different styles, so like shapes, there's pointed toe, rounded toe, loafer, all that. And then they also come in a whole bunch of different colors and patterns. They have new stuff coming on the site all the time. They're stylish, they're comfortable, and you can wear them with pants, jeans. You can wear them to work, you can wear them on a date, you can wear them to the gym. You can wear them with a dress. It's amazing. And I'm telling you again, because yes, I know I've told you before, but I've had friends, Lizzie, steal them out of my closet because they are the most life-changing flats there are. So head over to Rothy's right now. That is ROTHYS.com/get-it to get your new favorite flats, comfort, style, and sustainability all in one place. Rothys.com/get-it today.
All right, so we're going to call Stephanie Ray now. I believe she's with her husband, and they're expecting their baby girl at the end of January. So let's see how they're doing.
Hey guys, okay, so we have Steven and Stephanie on the line, and they, like Naz said, are expecting their first baby in January via surrogate, and I'm so excited for you guys. Is this your first time as using a surrogate?
It is. It's our first baby and first time using a surrogate.
Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. Wait, how are you guys feeling right now? Stephanie first, and then Steven.
It's like a nervous excitement. Like, we both haven't been really around infants much, so it's going to be a whole new experience. So...
Steven, how do you feel?
Yeah.
I feel good. I think it's surprisingly calm and like ready for it. We plan as much as we can, and then we'll ride the adventure.
You guys sound psyched.
I know. I feel like, can you be my parents?
Adorable.
Like, Jesus. I feel like my parents were like so mad.
We're scared.
Wait, Steven, how do you feel that another woman walking around in the world is going to give birth to your child? Is that weird at all for you?
No, I think what was so incredible in this situation was her family was actually already a family friend of ours. Oh. And we met her and her husband. We took them out to dinner. We got to know their family, their lovely family. So they're friends. And it felt so natural in an odd way. And it felt good the entire way. And she's the sweetest and most humble person. And we all have a great relationship.
So I know this might be a little bit of a sensitive subject, but you guys did agree to come on here, so I think you're expecting the question, why is it that you had to choose surrogacy?
Absolutely. No, that's a valid question. I am actually considered high risk. I was premature, and so I had a lot of health issues as a kid. And so I would be able to technically get pregnant, but they advised, the last 3 months I'd probably be in the hospital and on oxygen. And so it was actually something that I had brought up to Steven, even like on our first date, like, hey, this is kind of an option of what would be our future if this is what you're okay with, and kind of take it or leave it. And that was kind of the best option that we decided in the way to have a blood child of our own.
So your
Pump the brakes.
Wait a second. So your first date, so you just kind of knew that
Well,
Stephen was your guy.
It was a little bit unique. I actually.
Where are you from? Are you cool with surrogates?
Yeah, right. I actually hired a matchmaker.
Oh my God. Wait, you guys are
my
so. Can you
God.
send me a picture of you? I just want to hang it at my door or fridge.
It was. I was. Was I 30? I think I
we
was
were 30
30,
at the time,
and I'm like, I'm ready to get serious and put some resources into this. And there was a great program that eHarmony used to have where you could hire people that would help you and search with you, and you would talk to them about things you wanted, and they helped me find a number of great matches. And Stephanie was my very first match I actually ever got.
And only Matt.
And so
And only Matt.
My heart is so full, it's
I know.
exploding.
My heart's
I
pounding
can't
with
even
love.
talk right now. What? Have you guys been on like Good Morning America? Or anything?
I know, like a stable, normal couple.
Like you sound like
Joyous.
You just sound perfect.
Oh, you guys are cute. Well, congratulations to you, Ashley, too. We followed your journey, so we're happy for you.
Thank you for doing
their
that.
journey
It's
wasn't
very
as
sweet.
seamless.
So tell us about how the past 9 months pretty much has been following the pregnancy, your baby in somebody else's body.
And while you're answering that, maybe things that you didn't expect along the way that came up.
It's been awesome. I go to all of her appointments with her. Like Steven said, we developed a really good relationship and close relationship. And that was what was important to me too, is to have a relationship with someone that was going to be carrying our child versus kind of going through an agency and not really knowing that person, and kind of having that connection as our daughter grows up and knowing how important this person was in her life and our life. So
Right. So it's a family friend. So no agency. So does that mean you just like pay her on your own? Like you just Venmo her?
Yeah. Yes.
Like how does it work?
Well, so you hire an independent attorney, and the attorney had a lot of experience with agencies and independent. And he said, "Yeah, I can absolutely do the legal work for this." And we said, "I know it's not normal," but he said, "No, I've done it before. It's not. It's probably like 20% of the time. It's not rare, but it's not as frequent as an agency." But he said, "Yeah, it happens."
So would you say that perhaps Kim and Kanye did it that route?
sorry, that was our crazy dog.
Sorry. Oh, you're even more perfect. Excuse us. Ashley, what did you say?
So would the private route be what we would expect Kim and Kanye to have gone through? And are you, is that a way for surrogates to be paid more than they would through your standard agency?
That's interesting. I think they went through.
Yeah, it varies. You have to negotiate it yourself, and I guess they can either be higher because you know them and you can follow them and be with them, and that can have a lot more involved, or it could potentially be lower because they're doing it out of a labor of love, or they see it as a service and they're really looking to help you. So I think it can go both ways.
I am fascinated right now, just coming off watching Marriage Story and just legal and love and everything. What was the negotiation process like? Because I mean, this person's bringing your child into the world. So it seems like such a high bar.
You would just want to give them anything
I
they
almost
ask
feel
for.
like they could ask for anything in the world and you'd have to be like, fuck, okay.
Well, I think what helped was having full transparency and spending time looking online at what is average and what's reasonable, and taking them out to dinner and demonstrating that we want to do what it takes. And at the same time, this is what we found independently, and what are your thoughts? And there were really no issues about it. It was pretty straightforward.
So she obviously had kids before, because that is one of the normal requirements.
Is that a requirement for an agency?
Private,
Or
I'm not
It
sure.
is, yeah. She has 3 boys of her own, and she's had really healthy pregnancies. So that was another great qualification for her. I mean, she had to go through extensive tests as well before she could even be approved. So,
another private question: because you do, create the embryo out of the body, and you're able to do a lot of chromosomal tests, did you gender select?
we did not actually. We went back and forth about it quite a bit.
Are you happy with the outcome?
We are. We have a little girl coming, so absolutely. So,
oh my God, I'm so jealous of her
because
already.
we thought it could go both ways. You know, if you said, well, if there was one girl and 4 boys, and then you picked the girl, and then it didn't take, and you thought, wait, whoops, or it was, you know, it's just, I don't know. I thought at some point we should. At some
why
point,
play God? You know,
yeah. I know we're playing God the whole way, and then maybe at that point we stop.
You get to the pearly gates, and you're like, I'm not using this area code anymore.
When do you plan on having the surrogate as part of your child's life for the their future?
She's a family friend,
which I know.
Yeah,
I know the
absolutely.
answer to it basically.
Yeah, and that's what was so important is, I mean, she's been carrying our daughter, and we want her to know, like, hey, this is the woman that, you know, helped create life for you, and she's amazing, and we have a great connection with her. So she's going to be like an aunt in a sense. So,
can we ask what the ballpark was as far as payment goes? If you guys are comfortable with answering that, if not, that's totally fine.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I actually don't. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
The full amount,
yeah,
or like from surrogacy to
it's probably.
Like my IVF.
Oh, you know what, though? We should probably be careful just because of her legal contract.
Okay, no, that's totally fine.
Mind,
we had, before we called you guys, we actually had a surrogate on. So she sort of walked us through that. So tell us where you're at now. What is the expectant date and how that's going to go down? Are you guys going to be in the room? Does she call you? Like, how does that all work?
As far as we know, we're going to be in the room. I mean, if anything crazy is to happen, that's her decision of if she wants us in there or not. But we're about 3 weeks out. Jan 29th is the tentative due date. So
I'm so excited for you guys.
I'm very excited.
What's her name? Can you share with us? Do you know yet?
Our baby's name?
Yeah.
Yes, London Elizabeth.
Oh, that's pretty.
I love that. A name. She's going to be famous.
I once knew Elizabeth London. That's funny.
Ashley, that's so random.
I knew Elizabeth London.
That's so funny.
But I like your order better.
Thanks.
So, my final question to you, and I don't think this will be odd for you, especially since, you know, the surrogate is going to be part of her life. Mm-hmm. But when and how do you plan on telling her that she was carried through someone else?
That's a good question. I think it comes down to like the child and her like mental capacity in a sense. Like, can she understand this and be relatable? But I mean, our surrogate's going to be involved from day one, you know, till whenever. So I think Stephen might have a better response for that.
We want to start as young as possible because the younger you know something, it's a lot easier to understand. Mm-hmm. And the concept that you're mommy and daddy's daughter, but mommy has some difficulties physically carrying you. So a friend of ours, you actually were raised in her womb, or you grew up in her womb, but it was just like a house that we rented for a little bit, but you're actually ours.
That's amazing. I actually have a couple more questions. Did you guys put any weird stipulations in contract or tell them verbally, like you can't eat? Like, for example, we were joking before, if Lauren was like my surrogate, like I would not want her to eat Burger King.
You can't. No
like,
junk food.
Did you guys have any like weird rules or?
She asked us, and we could have stipulated a number of things, but we've seen her 3 other children, and they're so beautiful and perfect. We said, just do what you did. Whatever you did, you got the right recipe.
I think one of the things that in the agreement though is like no jumping on a trampoline. Like that's something like
no swimming with sharks
like that. You know?
Yeah.
Anything else now?
Yeah, I had a million that just left my head. Of course,
such a good answer.
What was I just gonna ask? Oh, I forgot now.
Oh, no. Can she dye her hair?
Can she dye her hair?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I think so. Is that something that, I don't know. If she did it with the other kids, then do it.
Okay, that's funny.
That's amazing. What advice do you have to people maybe listening that are interested in getting a surrogate? I just remembered I was going to ask, what are I don't want to use the word cons, but what were some things that came up that were unexpected, or maybe some obstacles that you went through? Was it all sunshine and rainbows, or were there some tough times?
Emotionally, did you feel like you did have moments where you were sad that you couldn't carry, or was this just something you planned so long throughout your life that it didn't really faze you?
Yeah, I've never been that type of woman, I guess, in a sense, that has had that need to have a desire to carry. And it's something like you said, I kind of always have known growing up. So it wasn't something that really fazed me. I think the thing that will be unique is us bonding with her, because I haven't carried her.
Yeah, that's an uncertainty that we're looking forward to looking for that challenge of the moment in the hospital and being there for her first moments. The logistics of milk, of course, is an interesting challenge. But I was actually surprised with how I didn't necessarily, a lot of people talk about how amazing it is to feel the kicking and all of that. And I'm sure it is, but not experiencing it, not knowing it, it's something I didn't necessarily miss.
Right. What are some other obstacles maybe along the way in the past 9 months, like that you guys maybe had to go through? And did you, if you're okay answering this, did either of you guys have like disagreements about anything along the way? I guess I'm just asking for people thinking of doing this, what they're up against potentially.
Yeah, I think actually a lot of the obstacles came earlier on rather than after getting through it. I think we spent a lot of time finding the right attorneys and going through a couple of different potential medical providers. And some of them we thought weren't giving us the right answers that we expected, and they weren't very helpful. And so I think something that's really important is finding a medical provider that you bond with, that you feel like really gets you, that's emotionally sensitive to what your needs are. That was something that was a challenge for us to find. And then the attorney as well. You're going to ask a lot of questions, and finding one that takes time with you. I think there's a lot of time up front. That's a lot of challenge. But once the bread's in the oven baking, it was kind of full steam ahead.
So now that you have all that planned out and, all that foundation is in place, do you plan on having another child via surrogacy?
We do, absolutely.
Aww.
So,
you guys need to have children, like many, many children.
don't give him any ideas. So, yeah, and I think too, it was having just clear communication as well, like with each other, and kind of setting a budget and having that guideline with like surrogate as well to help with maternity clothes and vitamins and things like that too for her.
Yeah, good point, Babe. If you go independent, one thing that an agency will do for you is they've already thought of all the questions on, well, wait a minute, is this expense include clothes or does it not include clothes? And if you go independent, you've got to be communicative. You have to be open and talk about all that stuff.
Question. Actually, I don't know why I haven't asked this before. You know how you said you were at high risk, Stephanie?
Yeah.
I have this inherent fear that I'm potentially going to be facing issues. Okay. Does insurance cover surrogacy? Is there any type of insurance that covers it? Like if you are at high risk or something like that comes up?
What was that at work?
Is it your insurance that covers the mom, or is it her own insurance?
And does your insurance cover some of the expenses if you are at high risk?
It's her insurance. So her insurance is covering kind of like the delivery, things like that. I don't know if ours covered the IVF process. Did it?
No, it didn't. Okay. So there are some situations where it can, I think, because there was a level of high risk where she technically could be pregnant. It's a little different than like just being higher risk. But what was nice is that at work, I have some reimbursement that I get from surrogacy. So certain insurance absolutely will reimburse it, and from work that they can. Yeah.
But what was nice too with the one that we went through was they actually have kind of like their own insurance policy. Like you obviously paid a little bit extra for it, but if the procedure didn't work, you could redo it again, basically free of charge.
Oh, amazing.
Wow.
That's great.
That's incredible. Another question I had for you, Stephanie, and I don't know if you face this, Steve, but I just kind of feel like potentially it's more prevalent among women. But were you ever, was it hard to tell your friends? You know how some people are scared to share things on Facebook even when they themselves are pregnant? Like, what was that like as far as like telling your friends and family?
No, totally. I get that. I feel like there's kind of a stigma about it in a sense, but it's becoming kind of like you said, Kim and Kanye, and it's a celebrity thing now. And
I think Cameron Diaz.
Yes, that's right. I heard about that. Yeah. So it's becoming more aware and it's becoming a more normal thing. So, we actually kept it. We did tell people we were expecting because technically it is our child.
Yeah.
But once we kind of got to that point where she was obviously showing more, and we talked about it, and we're like, okay, now we're ready to make it public. I mean, close family and friends obviously knew, but eventually we decided to go public because I would get those looks of, oh, you're pregnant, and they would look at my stomach, and it was just to the point where it was a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
So we just decided to make it public, and she was open about it too.
And when did you do that in the process?
I think like when she was like 21 weeks, maybe a little bit earlier.
It was definitely gradual. We started with the concept of once something is out there, you can't take it back. And we wanted to make sure the surrogate was okay with any information along the way. So the first couple weeks, just family knew. As she started to show, it got a couple more people knew. And then we had a baby shower. And that's when we really felt comfortable with the gender reveal, with the baby shower. It was a natural, gradual process. I think the baby shower was probably when it went full-blown public.
Mm-hmm. But social media, we kind of like announced it before the baby shower and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Got it. My final question for you guys is the final question that I had for our surrogate before. How does your surrogate, how is she explaining to her own children what she's doing now?
No, it's good. I like that. The boys know, like, this is not their sister. They know who we are. She's very clear about, this is their mommy and daddy, and we're carrying this for them because they can't have their own child. And even her sons are like, are we going to get to see London, like, when she's born? Like, are we going to be a part of their family?
Aww.
Like, it's cute.
The youngest.
It's like, yeah, you can marry her even if you want.
Hey, we might go with that.
You could
You're
be
adorable.
She could be we could be birthing your future wife.
I know.
I wish my mom would have done that for me. Shit.
The youngest, he's a little too young to understand much. When he said, I don't want a sister. The mom said, it's okay. It's not yours.
You're not
sister,
getting
it's theirs. Yes.
So funny.
So he was very happy about that.
I'm happy that it wasn't theirs.
Well, Stephanie, Steven.
Stephanie and Steve.
Stephanie and Steven, you guys have been an ultimate joy. A pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing your intimate story.
I'm so excited for you. Please send us photos of London when she's born. I'm so invested in her entire life from this moment forward.
We also want a photo of just you two right now.
Yes. Please text it.
I can do that.
Okay. Love you guys. Thanks for coming.
Love you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, ladies.
Bye.
Thank you for your time. Bye.
Bye.
I mean,
they were adorable.
I mean, what a little catch,
and this is just through their voice. I mean, it's like so funny.
What a sweetness. I mean, they're both so sweet, but like
you can hear the excitement in Steve, and like I'm so happy he's having a daughter. I feel like he's gonna spoil the shit out of her.
When we answered the phone, I know we weren't recording this part, but like they both got on the phone and they were just like super thrilled.
They're like, "Hey, we're so excited!" Oh man,
so sweet.
Well, I really like this podcast. I really didn't know anything
I wasn't
about
sure
surrogacy.
if we could learn a whole hour on it, but we sure did.
I mean, we could learn a whole hour about anything, I guess.
I guess so. We learned a whole hour about CBD.
Lauren wants to be a surrogate now.
Yeah, all I learned is that I can't be one.
Well, not yet.
At some point.
Oh, we'll see how long it takes.
I think
I'll probably be 40 by then.
I think she wants a baby in her now.
She does. You're going to be such a good caregiver.
I also could use $40,000.
Oh my God, Lauren. The right reason. Be a surrogate for the right reason.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm sure they have those memes on their message boards.
That would be such. Are there any surrogate reality shows?
No, but like
I know this is so mean, but like watching someone like tell someone else how to live their life because they're carrying their child is like such good television.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think I just should go back on the Kim and Kanye thing for a minute. I think that they did have an agency.
They went through an agency and they paid them base. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, that's just what you do. Yeah. And that's probably the most regulated, safe way for Kim and Kanye to do it.
I would be scared to be their surrogate.
Yeah.
Because God forbid anything happened, I'd be so scared.
So you remember like when they first announced they're having one, I think we were all talking about like how demanding Kanye must be over that woman.
But do you think, a question we didn't ask, like if you're going through an agency, do you meet the parents before? Or is there a case where they just have it and then you meet them after kind of thing? You know what I mean? Like after it's...
I bet you probably meet with them to make sure it's a match.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
But darn, wow. How did we go through that?
Fascinating. Well, love you guys. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so
much. Again, follow our Instagram, I Don't Get a Podcast, and our Facebook group, and all of us on Instagram. And we hope to see you at the live podcast February 6th.
Yeah, you guys, I know some of you have flown before. And if you find a cheap flight, maybe I'll encourage it.
Yeah.
Bye.
First 25 people get a sweater. Bye. I Don't Get It Podcast.